Well, guys, just when I thought I wasn't, just when I thought she, this woman, I don't even have words because you'll see in a second. You'll see in a second. Okay. Here we go.
I could not believe.
I have her at 1.5. This girl, I don't see this going for very long. And I don't even know why she was doing low carb keto for so long.
What happened to my blood sugar? I couldn't believe a lot of things. And this is another reason why I was like, I have to come on here and make a video about this because it was so incredibly shocking. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. So there has been a new diet craze that has been sweeping the YouTubes and has made its way into my algorithm. And I started watching some videos about it, and I just find it so funny how like these extreme things make these big splashes. But there's oftentimes some really more moderate or reasonable truths underlying these really extreme diet trends that come along. So when the sugar diet came onto my radar, it made me intrigued to think about a few things and maybe do some more experimenting. I have done lots of different experiments in the past and have documented.
My computer is ramping up to 5,000. And I'm not even using OBS to do this. See, this is, I have a problem with this. I have a problem with this because I was hoping she was going to talk about how ridiculous this diet was and that people nowadays have diabetes. The last thing you want to eat is sugar, which is true and will always be true. I don't care who you talk to.
Implemented them here on my channel. I actually did the potato diet years and years and years ago, and I think those videos are still on my channel if I remember correctly. And then when I was keto and carnivore, I did the sardine fast, I did the egg fast. I've done all kinds of different.
Keto and carnivore are the proper human diets. So, yeah.
Diet craziness on my channel and documented my results. And so I'm thinking about doing something similar with this sugar diet, but here's the deal. I will not drink sugar water. I am not going to go eat candy.
Then right away you're probably doing it wrong. They're gonna drink sugar water. Well, that's stupid, dude. I've heard his voice before. But yeah, that's you gotta drink the sugar water.
The experiment that I'm going to do, and actually I've already started it, so I have some like teasers here for you, or some initial reports, is I am going to try a whole foods approach. And I don't even want to call it sugar diet because that's just such a triggering name, and I know that it's triggering for a reason. It was named that to be triggering, and I don't.
Yes, because cult leaders love to trigger their people. They love watching their people, even within their own cult, get angry. So that's why they trigger people. That's why. They love watching people scream and yell and get angry. Okay?
I don't love that, but that's what it's called. It's kind of like back when PSMF was so popular. Horrible name, PSMF. But that's just what it was called. So you called it what it was called. And I know that this will definitely be the nail in the coffin for some of you guys, and you are going to unsubscribe to me. You are going to leave a super nasty comment, and you're going to tell me how I'm feeding cancer and causing.
You are. You are. This isn't up for debate, honey. It's not.
Diabetes and spiking insulin, and insulin is the root of all disease.
It is. Do you know how many people are high on insulin today? Who does not have type 1 diabetes? And who actually, And then there's the people on insulin who shouldn't be on insulin. And then there's the people who are on insulin that, well, they're just told to take more. Come on, you don't see the problem here?
And that you can't believe that I would talk about anything so terrible.
You're out of breath. Were you always this out of breath? I gotta go back and watch some more stuff. You're very, very slow, too. How much fat were you eating on keto? Because I don't think you were eating enough.
Terrible, that's gonna influence other people to do these terrible things and ruin everyone's lives. I know that some of you are ready and already writing those comments, and I get it.
Because she said she was already starting this. So my guess is it hasn't been long and already she's getting that breathlessness.
I really struggled with thinking through if I should even talk about this on YouTube at all, if I should do it at all, first of all, then if I should even talk about it on YouTube, because I can already, conjure in my mind all of the nasty comments that I am going to get. I also considered doing it, and then...
Yeah, I didn't, I kind of spoiled it there, but yeah, she says she started it, and then, she kind of started it before making videos on it, but, yeah. So she's already really out of breath.
Waiting until it was all the way finished before I reported on it, and only choose to report on it if I had, some positive thing to say. But I am not a doctor or nutritionist. I'm not selling a meal plan. I'm not trying to do anything that anyone else...
Excuse me. Look, some of the comments I've been seeing too, I have like 8 pounds, I still need to... Boo-hoo! Alright, at least you lost weight doing carnivore and keto. You should be happy about that. Well, it's not enough for you, you gotta get skinny mini. Not everybody can be skinny mini. And I said everybody because I don't mean everybody in this case. I mean, I'm splitting those two words up purposefully. Not everybody can be skinny mini like me. I don't even like being skinny mini.
This is supposed to follow. This channel has always been me sharing my own experience and experiments. And I just realized, if I'm going to do this, why not just continue in the vein of my channel and share it with you guys? So first of all, why would I even consider doing this?
You're laughing, which means you're not really convinced of all this. Come on. How do people get pulled into this? Oh, because I couldn't lose all that. I couldn't lose that last 2 to 8 pounds. You're lucky you lost weight at all. Look, even if it's 20 pounds, why would you sit there and mope over it? You could have been 300 pounds before. And now you're 130. And your normal weight was 110. Why would you be so upset for not being able to lose that last 20 pounds to get back to 110? Why would you work yourself up about that? Look, if I had the opposite problem and I gained a bunch of weight and got up to 200 pounds, then I lost 190. Let's say I was 220 pounds, okay? Let's say, okay, pretending that I went the opposite direction and I gained 220 pounds. Would I be upset if I only lost 110 pounds and my natural is 90? Would I be upset? No. Yes, I'd have a little bit of a gut, okay. Big deal. Big freaking deal, man. At least I wouldn't be ashamed to show that off like I would be if I was 220 pounds. I'd be so ashamed of myself. I'd be like, dude, I'm not even supposed to be this big. This isn't, even being above 100 is not natural for me. Why am I only letting this get worse when I know there's something I could do about it?
Over the last couple of years, if you guys have watched me, you know that my thoughts on carbohydrates have really, really changed.
I don't know why. I don't know why they would. Just because your gut gets better with something over time doesn't mean you should continue with it. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means that, I don't know, your digestion is a little better, I guess, but it doesn't mean that you should be doing what you're doing.
And that has come along with the change in my gut health. As I addressed my gut health and got it under control, I found that I could eat all kinds of different foods and tolerate all kinds of different foods. So
it doesn't mean that you should be, though. It would be like me saying, oh, well, I found that after I lowered my blood sugars, I was able to eat chips again. No, that's not what that means.
doing something like
Just because you're able to lower your blood sugar back to normal doesn't mean that means, okay, I got a free pass now. I can eat all the chips I want, chocolate I want, and fruit, and drink all the fruit punch I want to drink. That's not what that means at all.
a Whole Foods sugar diet a year or 2 years ago wouldn't have even been really an option for me because I just wouldn't have been able to digest all of that fruit and starch and things like that. But now my gut health is in much better of a place, and I have really seen the value of adding carbohydrates to my diet. And over the past maybe 6 months, I have really tried.
Yeah, you're going to gain all your weight back, trust me. Trust and believe that. Especially because you're not doing it as a vegan. Especially because of that, right? So, this isn't a vegan diet, okay? And these people here, you're going to hate it, not even because of your fellow, like just the people wanting to support you in any direction. You're going to hate it because there's going to be sides of the spectrum. No, you got to drink the sugar water. You got to do it. It's the only way to maximize everything. You got to do it. They're going to start pushing you even harder. They are worse than keto carnivore people. Way worse, and you're gonna feel it.
I tried to not limit myself with food. I felt like I was really working through coming out of a lot of restrictive mindsets, trying to.
Guys, I'm so tired of this. Humans are not supposed to eat varieties of foods every single gosh dang frickin' day of their frickin' lives. No. Because a human digestive tract is not capable. Eventually, Miss Indigo, you're going to start having your digestive problems again.
To like eat less. And I just was like, I need to just
No, you don't eat less. That's where your problem hits you. Do you ever watch Jason Fung? You should start.
fuel my body. I need to get all of the nutrients. I need to get out of the restriction, and I just need to eat to satiety. So that's what I did. And of course,
you have to eat carnivore. You'll never have to think about another gosh dang calorie again. Or whether or not you're getting the right nutrition. Eat a lot of beef with high fat. Okay? Beef. And salt. And water. Butter if you can handle it. Eggs if you can handle them. Cheese if you can handle it. You have all your food, your macros, in a carnivore diet. Cream, I guess if you dare, but I mean, it's... No honey. All right?
when you do that, when all of the foods are available to you, it's not typically a weight loss diet. So like I've already shared, I definitely did not lose weight. Like I shared most recently, my weight has stayed kind of at the higher end of the range that I have been in for the last, 5 to 7 years, maybe, since my last kid was born. And I do have plenty of excess body fat that I could lose. And so I did have...
Well, you're not going to lose it doing this. And you weren't really carnivore for long, were you? Because you said when I was keto and carnivore. How long were you keto carnivore? You got to be keto carnivore for years.
I have in my mind that I'm going to...
Years. I'm talking 4, 5, 6 years. Okay.
Try something to lose weight at some point, but I kind of just needed to give myself a break. And I knew also that anything that I tried was not going to...
Why are you laughing? Why are you laughing like this?
To be something I had to starve myself to do or white knuckle through because I just know that that's not going to be a long-term solution. If I wanted to lose 20 pounds really fast, I could go on a super low calorie diet. I could do PSMF.
Or maybe do a 24-hour fast and only eat once a day, but eat actual nutrition that's, meat, because a lot of carnivores, that's what they do. Then you just automatically fall into that group. And then if you're still struggling, try twice a day. Okay? Maybe 12 and 12. Right? I don't know, but this is not the way to go. And it never will be. Why are all the people that were doing it stopping it? This was done 2 months ago, but people were already starting to shy away from it, I think. And yeah, nobody's following it anymore, honey bun.
For a month. And I could get the weight off, but I know that that's not going to be sustainable. So if I'm going to find something that helps me to drop some excess weight, it has to be something that I can live with. And I made the decision a long time ago that if there's not a diet change that I can live with that helps me get the weight off, then I'm just happy being a few pounds overweight for the rest of my life. Just the stress.
Well, then why are you doing this? You're clearly not happy. you gotta work with a therapist on that one. Because you're never going to be happy with yourself. If, like, this doesn't prove to me that you're happy. You don't want to accept that fact, do you? I would. I wouldn't care. Keto carnivore is the only diet for human beings. It's the only diet we've been doing. Why? Look, we used to eat starches to gain weight. Why are you doing this? If you're only going to gain weight with this, why are you doing this?
Stress off of my brain, not having to count meticulously every calorie and macro and
What? Not having to count? You don't have to count on carnivore. What are you talking about? You don't. Just eat more fat. Okay? I'm not saying don't eat any protein. But maybe you can't have dairy either. Maybe you can't have eggs. Maybe you have to be very strict with carnivore and just do lion diet. And if you've done lion diet, how long have you done it for? Like, I'm not saying do carnivore because, like, Dr. Barry or Jason Fung or Paul Mason or whatever said so. I'm suggesting it because biologically, it's what we are. And always have been. And probably always will be. Because we were plant eaters before. And our digestive tracts have changed too much. We can no longer handle all of that. So we have to go to the next best thing. If it wasn't the case, why are we seeing more gluten intolerance than ever, more peanut allergies than ever, more weird fruit allergies, more like bean allergies, soy problems, like just
always hit the right. I just can't do it. So when I try things, they have to be things that are easy, and I fully
How is this easy? How is this easy? Do you know how long it takes to boil potatoes? Like half an hour. And then you gotta mash them. Maybe you don't mash them. Do you know how long it takes to prep all that crap? Probably an hour. Do you know how much, like, combining the potatoes and, like, all that other stuff, like the meat and all that. Do you know how long it takes to cook a frickin' burger? Burger patty? 10 frickin' minutes! My God!
recognize that maybe those things just don't exist, and I have accepted that. So I've seen the value in adding carbs to my diet. I also
But
know
what things
that
don't
I can't do
exist?
it. So when I try things, to count meticulously every calorie. If there's not a diet change that I can live with that helps me get the weight off, then I'm just happy being a few pounds overweight for the rest of my life. Just the stress off of my brain, not having to count meticulously.
You are counting. I mean, obviously, because you're trying to see how much you're trying to fit, like, I don't know. You probably do have to count stuff. Maybe I'm not getting enough sugar. Maybe I'm not getting... You're going to start. And if you were counting on carnivore and being like, maybe I'm not getting enough fat. Well, go by how you feel energy-wise. Why are you only obsessed with weight, people?
Every calorie and macro and always hit the right. I just can't do it. So when I try things, they have to be things that
No one can. Who said they could? You're going to start doing it later. You're going to start.
are
If you haven't already.
easy. And I fully recognize that maybe those things just don't exist, and I have accepted that. So I've seen the value in adding carbs to my diet. I also know that
No. No. And now she's going to say something really stupid.
carbs plus fat is just not a recipe for weight loss.
I mean, I guess, but you're still ramping up your insulin and you're going to start feeling hypoglycemic. Very, 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 like it's going to hit you bad. There are people in your comments warning you and you're not taking any notice of that, are you?
And so if I am to want to lose any weight, I have to decide how I'm going to juggle things, whether it be to cut the fat or to cut the carbs or just, cut everything down together. And so when I
No. Eat carnivore and stay on track. Don't veer off, especially if you have a weight problem, because carnivore is the diet that we were biologically meant to eat. Alrighty? Look at the digestive tract of the human being. Once you learn that, you will never, ever gorge on plant foods again.
Saw this idea of the sugar diet. I still cringe when I say that. So the biggest change between how I'm eating right now and the macros I'm eating right now and something that would be similar macros to what Cole Robinson.
And don't look at it on a vegan website, people. Look at it just on a basic website that shows your biology. It's not about being vegan or carnivore or anything. Find the anatomy of the human digestive tract, okay? Find it. Oh, but then why is the intestine so long? Do you know how small it is, though? Why is the small intestine so long? It's only long when it's rolled out. When it's, if it was rolled out, then it would be really, really, really long. But it's really curled in on itself, right? Big coil. Okay? How many of you here today have eaten a salad and been like, woo, I feel energized? No, chances are you feel like, ugh, that was a bit too much. I don't know if I should have eaten all that. Or, how many of you today, I know this is weird, but how many of you here today poop comfortably? Decently sized, not like that anaconda staring back at you, talking to you, Gundry. But decent size. And how many times a day do you do it? 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 20? That's too much. But you're supposed to poop every day. Some digestive tracts just don't work that way, apparently.
And Mark Bell are doing, which I have a hard time, recommending those guys for you guys to go listen to, because Cole is very difficult to listen to. I don't enjoy listening to him, but...
So why are you? That should be a clue for you. He is a cult leader, and he is not afraid to hide that.
He's the one that, has the loud voice promoting this right now. And then Mark Bell, he's a super nice guy, it seems like, but he's a bodybuilder and he's on steroids. And so I don't have a lot in common there. But anyways, those are the voices that are talking about this right now. So the main difference...
Holy shite, did he actually admit to steroids? Or is it just obvious when looking at him? I mean, I guess it would... has he actually admitted it?
Between how I'm eating now and those kind of macros would be that I would drop my fat and that I would increase my carbs basically as much as I want, because you're supposed to eat 2...
Yeah, and give yourself freaking diabetes. You're going to, because there's only so much that your pancreas can handle, hun. And eventually it's not going to be enough. Your insulin's going to go way too high. I'm not saying insulin spikes aren't normal, but the amount of insulin, your body soon won't be able to compensate.
Satiety. And I already knew that I was going to have to probably drop my fat if I wanted to lose any weight. I am not at the point where I'm willing to drop carbs again. And the idea of increasing them, cutting out the fat, is a hard thing to accept. But
you're not supposed to. You need it for hormones. Why are so many people having fertility issues? I didn't think she'd make me this mad.
Being able to increase the carbs and eat to satiety, I was like, I'm going to try this. I'm just going to try it and see how it goes. Another reason that I felt good trying it out is because I had a CGM on. So I had a CGM these last 2 weeks. I just took it off, I think, day before yesterday. And I had some days where I was eating the way I had been eating. And I will put on the screen the macros that I have been eating roughly. I haven't been counting every day, but every time I did count, it kind of ended up being around this amount. So I have some days of the CGM where I was eating that way. And then the last 3 days of the CGM, I was eating my version of the whole food sugar diet. And I could not believe what happened to my blood sugar. I couldn't believe a lot of things. And this is another reason why I was like, I have to come on here and make a video about this, because it was so incredibly shocking. Because you'd think going from around 200 grams of carbohydrates to around 400 grams.
Oh my God, see, we're already high carb. What the... You were already super high carb. Low carb. Her diet videos for the longest time were like low carb, whatever. You were not ever low carb. And what was your version of carnivore, honey? Now I really don't believe you.
Grams of carbohydrates. The first day I ate over 500 grams of carbohydrates. 47 of them were fiber. The next day I ate, I think 350. I was less hungry the second day. Crazy. And then the third day I ate.
Yeah. Because you had 47 grams of fiber. Hello?
Around a little over 400 grams of carbohydrates. My blood sugar dropped. I haven't seen these low of numbers in a long time.
Because your pancreas is trying to compensate. Over time, that will stop and you will feel like absolute crap.
My CGM says anything below 70 is low. And my blood sugar for those last 3 days, 20% of that last 72 hours that I had the CGM on, that I was doing the whole food sugar diet, my blood sugar was below 70 20% of the time. My blood sugar never went over 140, which...
You must feel absolutely miserable off camera. You must. Don't lie and tell us that you do not feel miserable, because you absolutely do. I'm not going to sit here and take your bull crap.
Is the range. So I was in range 80% of the time, which sounds not great, but the other 20% that I was out of range was because I was in the 60s. I was like, what is going on? I double my carb intake and
because you have a pancreas that luckily still functions, honey bun. You're going to destroy it here in the next few months.
My blood sugar...
And I'm not even talking about 2 months from this video. I'm talking about 4, 5, 6 more months. You're going to... Yeah, no.
drops. My average blood sugar, according to the CGM, previous to starting this whole food sugar diet experiment, was in the 90s and high 80s, I believe. And then the 3 days that I did the sugar diet, my average blood sugar was 80. So it was very, very low. I could not believe how well my body handled all of that. I also noticed on my Ultrahuman Ring app that my HRV increased again. If you guys have been following me with the red light therapy journey that I've been on, basically my HRV was like single digits, rock bottom, when I was hyperthyroid. When I recovered from that, I was sitting around 40.
You take medication for hyperthyroid, by the way. Hypo? Or you might need your thyroid out. Who knows? Let me go back, because I think she said hyperthyroid?
Single digits, rock bottom, when I was hyperthyroid.
Yeah, hyperthyroid. Do you not need the medication for that anymore then? I don't think hyperthyroid you just recover from. I don't know what you're doing, but you obviously probably weren't eating enough fat. I mean, you said you were eating 200 grams of carbs before too, so there was also that.
When I recovered from that, I was sitting around 40. And when I started red light therapy, it jumped up to 70, which was amazing. And then when I started playing with some other things with the red light therapy, like the vibration plate and dry brushing, it jumped up into around the 80s. After the first day of being on the sugar diet, my HRV jumped up to 95 or 90.
Okay, I'm going to pause this. If I Google the right thing, heart rate variability, and you're wearing one of those ultra rings, where are you going to get your pulse? In your finger. Where are you going to... It's not going to detect your pulse. How does your heart rate feel when you touch around your jugular? How does it feel? Is it going boom, 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 boom? Or is it going boom, 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 boom? What's it doing? Because you have very, serious shortness of breath going on. It's not good.
6. And it stayed in the 90s the 3 days that I was doing the whole food sugar diet experiment. I have historically had such a hard time increasing my HRV. When I was keto and carnivore, I did all kinds of things, including like cold plunges and stuff.
You idiot sandwich. Following that monster who's abused his family? You are literally deranged. No, I didn't even watch this far. Oh my God.
To get my HRV up, and nothing I did. I was just always low, and I was just like, well, I guess that's just how I am.
If you felt okay, there's no problem.
And then the red light therapy, gave me that huge boost, which was incredible. And then this apparently is boosting it even higher. So I saw my blood sugar go down. I saw my HRV go up. I did also have improvements in my sleep. I had my restorative sleep increase. I had
Yeah, because you're breaking your body on the inside.
very vivid dreams, all 3 nights. So
Is that a good thing? Someone tells me that's not really a good thing. Because that could get creepy real quick.
it was enough that it has really, really piqued my interest. And I, for a long time, I have been aware that there is some kind of magic about eating low fat. I think there's a magic about.
Yeah, you're gonna get brain zaps, and if you're prone to seizures, you're gonna get seizures. If you have problems with your hormones, you're definitely gonna your thyroid's gonna go tanking again in some areas, and then spiking in others. Yeah.
About eating very low carb, and I think there's also a magic about eating very low fat. And
No, only low carb, because that's what the diet of the human being was always about. It was always eating low carb from the moment we became human beings. I mean, ever since Homo erectus, okay, and Homo habilis, we were predominantly low carb. Like 90% of the time.
And because there's things like the Walter Kempner diet, where he fed people white rice and sugar and fruit, and
oh my God. You didn't look into that one far enough either, did you?
Cured diabetes. Wild.
No, he didn't. He didn't. You don't cure diabetes. It would be like saying, oh, you have heavy metal poisoning? Well, let's inject more freaking heavy metals. Idiot.
And then like fruitarians, they're not known for being obese.
Fruitarians. Do you know what they look like? Did you see what happened to freaking what's his name? Mango? Did you see how he looked in the videos that he was in before? He lost his wife. He lost his life, and his wife is distraught now. And you know why he lost his life? Because he was way too freaking skinny. And he had severe arterial blockages. There would have been no saving him. And now his wife is grieving his loss. And I don't even know where she's at now. She's trying so hard to deal with everything. And and you're going to sit here and brag about how skinny fruitarians are? Idiot.
Like, there's something about the eating of the sugars without the fat that does allow.
You know what fruitarians also don't eat? Protein. Are you going to follow that one too? Do you really, really want to look like a frickin' famine victim? Because that's what a lot of these people end up looking like later on. I'm just warning you, okay? This is dangerous. I don't even know why. This stuff is... Do you ever watch Dr. Barry and Jason Fung? Start watching them. Then rethink all of this.
Some kind of a metabolic something that helps people lose weight.
You don't even know what it is. Oh, I can hear Bart K right now. Oh my God.
So I have another CGM that I am going to apply, and I am going to film this experiment. So it's kind of already started, but I'm going to have 2 weeks of the CGM, and we'll just go on this journey together. So the modifications that I've made for myself, the rules that I've made for myself, and I'm being very, very loose with this because, like I said, I'm not forcing myself to do anything. I'm not going hungry. I'm not, it's not.
Well, you're probably eating every hour, right?
It's going to be difficult. Whatever I do, it's going to be very doable. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be keeping my protein at 100 grams, around 100 grams per day. Protein is very important to me, and it does make me very nervous to cut the protein as low as a lot of these people do, because a lot of people who promote this kind of eating and talk about...
You still sound like you're out of breath, hon.
The state that your body gets in with the lots of carbs without the fat. They're vegan, and there's a lot of other ideologies involved in there, and I still very highly value protein and animal protein, and so I will be continuing to incorporate that. So I'm going to have around 100 grams of protein per day. I'm going to keep my fat somewhere between 30 and 40 grams, which is not as low as some people, but so far I've still had good trends in the right...
Oh my God. I see the brain zaps. If I was to do this, I see my brain zaps coming back full force. Oh my God, and they're the worst.
Direction with 30 to 40 grams of fat. And then beyond that, I'm just going to eat carbs to satiety. And a lot of people...
You can't. You can't. That's impossible. Eating carbs to satiety is impossible. It's impossible. And you're supposed to eat simple carbs.
There's quite a few people, especially in the vegan space, that talk about eating more fruits in the morning and throughout the day and then doing more starches at night. So I have been trending that way. Like I'll do a lot of fruit in the morning, but I haven't had like a really hard rule of when I switch.
You're so out of breath, honey. I get that way if I have too many carbs. I'm not afraid to admit that either. But I'm not up here bragging about how eating carbs is like the best thing in the world. No, I'm not.
Starches. If I feel like having starches at lunchtime, I'll go ahead and have some starches at lunchtime, but I'm just gonna kind of generally be doing fruits in the morning, more of the protein and the starch at night. So if you're interested in seeing my CGM results from this, please stick around. I know that some of you have probably already stopped watching this video and have unsubscribed, and I totally understand that. Thank you to those of you who have stayed here till the end. Have you guys been hearing about the sugar diet also?
Yeah, and they're done now. They're done. They're not following it anymore, hon. They're not following it anymore. Not the way that you are, anyway. I don't even think they're doing it the way you are. This is ridiculous. I can see... I wonder if Bart K reacted to this. I'm going to look on his channel because, oh my God. Oh my God. This is insane. I would love... Actually, I'm not even kidding you. I would love to hear Bart K's take on this. I really would. This is ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. I just can't, guys. I can't. Yeah. So, anyways, that's it for this. Yeah, I'll see you in the next one, okay? Later, guys. Carbs!